Okay, Anime Expo, let's talk about it. So first of all, hi! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and today we're going to be talking about Anime Expo, my experiences, thoughts, and also tips and advice for people considering attending Anime Expo, possibly the next year or in the future. This was my very first time attending Anime Expo. Honestly, I did this quite last minute. I wasn't quite sure whether I wanted to attend for a day or do the 4-day badge. But financially, the 4-day badge seemed to be the best option because a single day was $70 and the 4-day badge was $140. So in my head, I was just like, well, if I go for 2 days, it's the same as a 4-day badge. So might as well go for the 4-day badge. That was my thought process. It was my first time ever going to a 4-day convention. I've done other conventions before. I did Animanga last year, which was a hot mess. I have a whole vlog about it if you want to see what happened. I've also gone to San Diego Comic-Con, but only for a single day. I've never done like the full, Comic-Con experience throughout the 4 days, or I mean now it's like 5 days. So it was my very first time attending a 4-day convention. Honestly, for someone who is an introvert, it's a lot. I'm still trying to recover from being around so many people and interacting with so many people. And it's been a little over a week. So yes, if you're someone that gets socially drained very easily like I do, expect to feel very tired after the convention. As for the convention, as a first-time attendee, the one thing that really stood out to me was how unorganized the event felt. There was a lack of signage around the convention center, so it was very hard to find a room that you were specifically looking for. I know when we were trying to look for Albert's panel on the last day, second to last day of Anime Expo, we were struggling to find that room. And once we did find where the line was supposed to be at, which was outside, like in between the two halls, the West Hall and the South Hall, someone had to escort us up to the panel room. But once we left that panel, we discovered there were 2 separate ways to just, get in and get out from that panel. So we didn't need to be necessarily escorted into that room. I wish somebody would have told us like, hey, take the escalator up and that's how you can get into the panel room. Or from the west side, there's also a staircase that you can take. Like, there was no signage. There was little to no signage. Also, on the very first day, I wish you would have been handed out a map, a physical map, because for a lot of attendees, our cell phone service was crap. I could barely access, my text messaging, and whenever I needed to contact my friends, I could barely reach out to them, let alone open the Anime Expo app and actually use it properly. So I do wish that as you were entering on the very first day of Anime Expo, you would have been handed a map, because there were maps, but I didn't find the map until day 3 of the convention. We entered a different way, and then I just saw them like scattered around, and I just grabbed the one. But I do wish they were more accessible, maybe some directory boards across the convention center. That way it would be a lot easier to know where you're at. Almost like a mall type of thing. Where you're at, like here's where you are. And then just kind of figure out where the rest of the stuff is. Because yeah, it was very confusing. It was really confusing for a complete newbie like I was. Apart from that, I also felt like the events and the staff, everything was pretty unorganized. I know in the vlogs, I lightly touched up on the Obey Me situation. I didn't even try to be one of the 75 people to get into the autograph session with the Obey Me voice actors, but my friend Chantal and Mia specifically flew to LA to attend Anime Expo just for the chance to, get their autographs and meet the cast of Obey Me. There is videos by both Chantal and Mia that I will link down below if you want more about the situation. But to make things short, Anime Expo handled it the worst way they could have possibly handled it. And apart from that event that they handled horribly, they also would cancel things at the very last minute without little to no notification. change locations around. For example, the Project Sakai cosplay meetup that I attended, for days prior, actually I would say even weeks prior to the convention, we had a designated meeting spot, meeting time, like we were all on the same page. And literally the day of the cosplay meetup, the morning of the cosplay meetup, I luckily checked my Facebook just to see if there were any updates, and there were updates. Anime Expo decided to move the meetup spot from LA Live to in front of the South Hall. I'm glad that I saw that, but I did see a few cosplayers walk away like towards the original meeting spot. So I wish, you know, they would have better communication with event organizers. That way you don't end up with situations where attendees are put into very awkward situations or unfortunate situations. And yeah, I mean, I feel like that's asking for a little too much from them. Another thing that I mentioned in the vlog was how much they underestimated the crowds, and I still stand by that. Not only did they underestimate the Obey Me fandom, I mean, it's an app with over 7 million active users. And it was the very first time that the Obey Me voice acting cast flew to the US to attend a convention. Like, that alone should have told you that there is a really big fandom for this game, and they completely underestimated how many fans and how many people would gather around the booth. So I wish they would have been more aware of that situation. I also wish that the vendors, especially like big vendors like Kinokuniya and, you know, and Good Smile and all the big names, were more aware of the type of fandoms that each series have, especially when it comes to merchandise. I mentioned that the Tears of Themis merchandise, this was the very first time I've ever seen officially licensed Hoyoverse Tears of Themis merchandise sold in the US. Like this accessible. Most of the time we have to go through a proxy service and order it from, you know, from Japan or from China, and it's a hassle. So when I saw the Tears of Themis merchandise, I mean, I grabbed what I could, but I mean, most of it was sold out that very first day. And for people that had maybe just a day badge on, you know, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, they didn't have a chance to buy anything because they carried such few merchandise pieces. So I wish they would have, you know, planned accordingly to that, or maybe reserved a certain number of merchandise for each and every single day. That way all attendees would get a chance to buy something. The same thing goes for the Decoy merch that was sold exclusively through Kinokuniya, the t-shirt, the badges, the acrylic stand. It's another series where we rarely get any merch. So yes, they announced that there was going to be limited edition merch, and the people went crazy. Not only did the fans go crazy for the Decoy merch, but also resellers, because they're well aware that there's very little merchandise for that series. I mean, within a few hours, there were Mercari listings and eBay listings trying to resell the merchandise at Anime Expo for, you know, double, triple, quadruple the price, and without any restrictions on how many pieces you could buy. Yeah, I mean, what else did they expect? By the time me and Steph arrived around noon, there were no t-shirts, no acrylic stands, very few badges, and a few copies of the last volume. So again, I wish they would have allocated a certain number of merchandise per day, because again, people that had a single day badge did not even get the chance to buy any of the exclusive merchandise. I also wish they would have, you know, restricted and limited the amount of merchandise a single person could get to avoid all the resellers buying a bunch of stock and just listing it online. Another thing, and this is just like, there were several things I found disappointing about Anime Expo, especially considering that I feel like it's a very well-established convention, so I had much higher expectations. Also, since I have gone to Comic-Con, I know they're not the same type of convention, but I kind of expected San Diego Comic-Con level of organization. I mean, at least for me, San Diego Comic-Con seems to be very organized and on top of their game. So I was kind of expecting a similar experience with Anime Expo. And the next thing I want to talk about are the panels, because I've been to panels at San Diego Comic-Con, like big panels, like big press releases. I'm talking like, you know, True Blood in its heyday when everybody was going crazy about the cast and you had all the actors there, you had the director, they brought like exclusive, you know, trailers and clips, and like it was a huge deal. It was in the humongous hall. I would get in no problem. I could line up maybe like 2 hours beforehand and I could get in very easily. If I wanted to stay around for like the next panel, I could. If I wanted to leave, it was very easy to leave. So I kind of was expecting something like that. I think for even one of the years that I went to, I only lined up for like an hour and I got in. Like it was fairly easy. It was really easy. And for Anime Expo, I heard nothing but stories of the line being capped super quickly, people lining up for like 3 hours and not getting in. So yeah, apart from Albert's panel, I didn't get to see any other panel at Anime Expo. None of the ones that I wanted to see. Didn't get into the Kodansha one. I heard from my friends that they capped that one out really early. Didn't get into the Sailor Moon one, Yen Press, all of those panels that were about manga releases. And personally, especially since we were commuting from Orange County to LA, I wasn't gonna wake up at 5 in the morning to line up to get into the convention center and then line up again for 3 to 4 hours just to get into a panel. It almost seems like you had to pick or choose whether you wanted to explore the convention center or spend all day waiting in line to get into a certain panel. And it almost made it seem that you needed to get a different type of badge to avoid all those lines and actually get to experience the panels and also get to experience the exhibit floor. Like I mentioned, it's either you were okay with the fact that you would be outside in the heat waiting in line, or you would skip on the panels and then explore the rest of the convention center, then the different halls and stuff like that. Me and my friends decided to make the best out of that situation. So we were out exploring the different halls, the different booths, meeting other TikTok creators that we follow. So we did try to have as much fun as we could. I mean, obviously we paid for this, so I didn't want this to go to waste. And we were driving every single day to downtown LA. So again, I wanted to make this trip worthwhile. So I did try to have as much fun as I could every single day, which I think came across in the vlogs. I also completely forgot to mention one of the things I was very disappointed by is the way they handled COVID and safety at Anime Expo. So each and every single day, if you had the app installed on your phone, they were sending out push notifications that masks were going to be enforced inside and everybody should wear a mask. But so many people, both attendees as well as people working booths, were not wearing masks. I cannot tell you how many people I saw throughout the 4 days without a single care in the world. And I mean, you can, maybe you can take off your mask for like a quick picture and then put it back on, or if you're gonna have, you know, a drink of water or food, or there are moments where yes, you can take off your mask and then you can put it back on. There was no one enforcing that. I mean, even some of the staff wasn't even wearing the masks. So I mean, it's no wonder why people got sick with COVID during Anime Expo. San Diego Comic-Con, when I went in November, they were picky about masks. If you were entering the exhibit floor without a mask, you would be stopped and they would tell you to put a mask on. They also were quite good at checking the vaccination records, making sure everybody was checked in and had their little wristband. With Anime Expo, again, disorganized. It was hard to find where to get checked in for your proof of vaccination. Finally found it, and then it turns out there was another line that was shorter, and they didn't even tell us that until we were like literally there. In terms of safety, they didn't even check your bags or anything. You just walked through and that was it. which was scary. I mean, supposedly the scanners are very high tech or something, but with everything happening in the US, it honestly would have made me feel a little bit more comfortable if they patted me down or even checked in my bag. Just a quick glance, something, because there was literally like nothing. Nothing was checked. With that being said, would I go back next year to do Anime Expo all over again? For the time being, no, especially not for 4 days and not with a standard badge. You would have to have really important guests, important to me, like really like big names to me, to bring me back to downtown LA to attend Anime Expo for 4 consecutive days. And when I say big names, I really do mean it. You have to bring like a Hatsune Miku concert, more Utapri, maybe like a Mamoru Miyano or Junichi Suave or Kento Ito. I mean, the list is quite big for me. Maybe like Clamp, people that I find important and that I could justify spending the money on the badge and traveling to LA. You would have to bring that type of guests for me to justify doing this experience all over again. Maybe I would do a day badge if for some reason I were to get invited or get like a press badge or some other type of badge, then maybe again. Anime Expo tips for other newbies. Honestly, plan ahead, but don't be too attached to like your ideal schedule, because honestly, almost everything on the Anime Expo app that I was planning to attend, I didn't even get to see. The only thing that I did see was the Utapri movie. That was literally it. So everything else that I had planned to attend, the Tokyo Mew Mew panel, Sailor Moon panel, I just was not able to make it work. Do plan ahead, but don't become too attached to your set schedule, because things can happen and you might not be able to do everything that you want in your list. Another tip that I have is either bring a tote bag, bring a backpack with essential items. And some of the things that I found very useful were a portable fan, like an electric fan. I bought one from Daiso, you guys saw in my vlog. That little thing saved us so many times from just like heat exhaustion. I highly recommend just spending those $5 to $7 on an electric portable fan, because it will help you both outside of the convention center and also inside of the convention center. If you're gonna be outside lining up, bring a black umbrella to shield yourself from the sun. I did that and honestly it helped us out so much. You are allowed to bring in that umbrella inside. I mean, just, you know, wrap it up, just fold it. You are allowed to bring it in. Other things that I would recommend bringing are sunglasses. If you wear contacts, bring eye drops, or in your case, if you want to take them off. Regular glasses if you have bad eyesight like I do. You can also bring like a makeup setting spray or oil blotting sheets. Definitely face masks, hair ties, bobby pins, like essentials to me. So whatever essentials you decide are important, I would recommend bringing them and putting them into either your backpack, tote bag, whatever you have. Another thing that I do recommend, and I did show this in also my vlog, getting prepared for Anime Expo, some type of like folder. So something like this I bought from Daiso. It was $1.50. You can even use just a regular folder, but just something that will hold your items in place, especially if you're planning on buying stickers, art prints, stuff like that that could easily get damaged. Something like this will come in handy. So yes, definitely recommend something like this. If you're gonna be doing cosplays, just make sure that you know, try them on, see how it fits, see if it feels comfortable, especially shoe-wise, because you're gonna be walking and you're gonna be on your feet quite a lot at the convention. So luckily for me, all my cosplays required very comfortable shoes. I mean, I wore those white tennis shoes 3 out of the 4 days, and then for the Narumi cosplay, I wore, you know, flats, but I've worn those flats so many times, even like in San Francisco, just walking around those very hilly streets. So yeah, I knew I was very comfortable in those shoes. So I would highly recommend wearing comfortable shoes. And if you do want to wear uncomfortable shoes for like pictures and stuff like that, if you have space in your tote bag or backpack, definitely pack, you know, flats or sandals or something comfortable to you. That way you can switch out of those uncomfortable shoes and into comfortable shoes. I also would highly recommend sunblock, antibacterial gel, mints, deodorant, stuff like that, just to, you know, help with your hygiene. Hygiene is important. Also lip balm, because with the AC circulating, your lips can get dried and parched and can hurt a little bit. Another tip that I would have is to attend a festival with a friend or family or loved one. Honestly, I don't think I could ever go to a convention that big by myself. It's a recipe for a panic attack. So yes, if you can, you know, talk your friend into going with you, your sibling, family member, like someone, because it does help having, you know, someone there to support you and just, you know, keep an eye out for you. And also it makes the whole experience a lot more fun. So I would recommend going there with someone. Last but not least, I do want to talk about the parking situation, which was also horrible. I find that the convention center parking lots were insufficient for the amount of people going to Anime Expo. You can take public transportation. I'm honestly not, as someone that's not from LA, I'm not super familiar with the public transport in LA, and also we're coming from Orange County, so it made things a little difficult. So we were just commuting by car and just parking, you know, outside of the convention center, because there was no way in hell we were gonna get parking inside. Even when we tried, all the parking lots were completely full, and one of the parking lots was utilized for the artist alley, so there went some spots that could have been used for attendees. So yes, that's another reason why you should wear comfortable shoes, especially if you're gonna have to park a few blocks away from the convention center. So I think that's it for this video. I've talked quite a lot about my experience and thoughts about Anime Expo. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer every question. If you have any other questions about different conventions, also let me know in the comments. I would be more than happy to help, and you guys can help each other out as well. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you're brand new, make sure to subscribe to keep up with my content. All my social media links are always listed in the information bar below, and I hope to see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!